Hello.
Hey, welcome to the Republic Forum. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Tom.
And hey, if you're...
I caught him off guard, people,
yes,
as you guys could tell.
You did. We want everybody out there to guard their cats
I'm
dogs.
telling you, I had to have a long conversation with mine. He won't even go out the door. And I kept telling him, it's not from around here, it's in Ohio.
Well,
he won't listen to me.
No.
Well, he's afraid.
Well, he shouldn't. He probably doesn't listen to you.
He sniffs out the door and goes right back in.
I'll bet you dollars to don'ts he doesn't listen to you, period.
Oh, no. He's my buddy.
Yeah, he's your buddy, huh? Is he a male or a female?
I have no clue.
Oh, you have no clue. Okay.
I've only had him for 18 years.
18 years.
What's that in calves like? 98?
Yeah, who knows?
He's an old cat.
I don't know. But, yeah, anyway, can they get off there and talk about some things that are kind of out there? I'll agree with that. I'll say that statement is out there. I don't know if they are eating cats and dogs or they're not eating
I just can't.
I mean,
just can't believe that was even put out. Look,
but you go to the islands and you go to some countries and they are table fare.
Yeah, we're not a third world country.
Well, that's
hopefully not.
But these are third world people.
You know,
see, that's
just because they come over here doesn't mean they're doing everything.
Well,
you know,
a lot of them.
But I would say if it was happening,
traits.
I mean, in order for somebody that's running as a candidate for president, and I'll put it even as a council person for a town, you don't say something like that on national TV without any backup. And when they asked his vice presidential candidate after, well, that's what we're getting in, that some people are leaving us messages. So all I got to do is leave you a message, and you're going to make that one of your stories?
Well,
don't you go out and confirm things first?
Listen, all ABC had to do is make a phone call.
You know, they did.
Yeah, but they didn't confirm any of that. They didn't go any farther behind
you
that.
Don't think,
now you're talking a $1 billion organization that could actually do some legwork.
So watching the debate, did you watch it?
Only parts of it. Parts of it, and the rest of it I listened to.
I sat there, and then I have a lot of friends that are on the other.
I can't look at her that long.
I have a lot of friends that are on the other
I start to
aisle.
gag. I don't know what it is.
And I started looking at some of their tweets and stuff that they were putting out later. And, now we're going to blame the two people, the moderators, because they were more. When they said something that wasn't completely true, all the moderator was do is say, look, this is what the fact check is. This is what the truth is. And that they did that more I would say to him because of the way he does his stuff. But they did do it the other way. But to be honest with you, if you really, really looked at it,
you're never honest with anybody. You're a Democrat.
No,
it's not in you.
Don't go down that road because I have voted for people on both sides of the aisle. I don't play this Democrat-Republican thing. Okay, so when you're sitting there, and this is why.
Yeah, you do. That's why your trash is so expensive.
Yes, we'll get to that too. But this is why I sit there and tell people why I believe certain people will win the presidency and stuff, and I said it with Biden in there because guys like me, people like me that are in the middle, that will vote for candidates on either side of the aisle, you have to get us there. And if you can't get us there, you're not going to win, especially if you're a Republican, because you need us in order to win because there's not enough of you.
So if somebody abducts your cat, you'll be voting Republican because they're here.
If they abduct my cat, they can't touch my cat. Okay, that's where I cross the line. But when you're listening to the debate, you're hoping, and to be honest, you're really hoping that you're going to get a little bit about what they're going to do for jobs, what they're going to do for different things, the environment and stuff that's going on, the border. Okay, well, I will give it to President Trump that he brought the border issue up 42 times.
Okay.
Okay, because every answer he gave, it was all back to the border. I got his point about the border.
I didn't count the border.
Okay, but every time he was asked a question about how you're going to bring jobs in, how you're going to do this, he couldn't answer anything. I would say from the other side, didn't give answers that completed sentences. But it's tough when you have a minute. I'll give it on both sides. It's tough when you got like a minute or two to say something, okay, and you're trying to answer a question that was before.
She doesn't have a plan.
But, look, I heard more of a plan from that side than I did on his side. All I got from his side, Jeff, was I'm working on it. and we'll put it out and show it out. He did that for 4 years. And then the next piece I really liked about the border was when he came at her and basically said that instead of being here, you should leave here tonight, go right back to Washington, D.C. Now, I'm paraphrasing, not word for word, and go back to D.C. and you can sign one of those orders to close the border.
Well,
I would have turned around. Right, and this is where I think she missed her point. I would have turned right around at that point and looked right at him and said, well, you were president for 4 years. You never closed the border. He never closed the border. He was putting up, a wall,
was doing the
but he
walls,
didn't close the border, which he could have done, according to him, with a signature on his thing. But he didn't do it.
They weren't coming across.
They were coming across.
Not like they are.
Doesn't
with Biden.
matter, because in your side, you guys don't think anybody should be coming across. So if he really truly believed that, he should have done that.
People we should
he
be
should have
deported.
done that. Okay,
Never mind
I would have just come back. I would have just
deported.
come back at him at that.
Oh, well, you
on
can
that
come
end,
back
because I don't think he would
that's
have had
why
an
he
answer.
did that. Oh, of course
See,
he
he'd be
has an
doing
answer.
just what you're doing right.
No, I'm waiting for you to shut up. That's what I'm doing. I mean, you got
Okay, Sir Trump, go ahead.
You got dribble mouth.
My mic
going
just
on
got
me.
shut off. Go.
We don't shut off your mic. Everybody knows that out there. No, one of the things that struck me.
I don't like either one of them, to be honest with you. So. But I'm going to vote for somebody that I think at least is looking like a leader.
What did I tell you? Diarrhea of the mouth. You just can't shut up.
No, keep going.
No, all right.
You got 40 minutes to get your stuff out. Let's go.
Yeah, I got plenty of time. All right, it's not a race. After watching and listening to the debates, I found it disheartening that neither one of them really answered the direct question. They would beat around the bush, or they'd go back to something they were doing, and exact answers were just non-existent. Now, what I would like to see, and I don't care about Trump and Kamala there should be 3 debates put on by a non-whatever organization, and the first one should be on the economy. The second one could be on social issues, and the third one, if immigration is the big thing, on immigration. All right, there should be 3 separate categories that people want to hear about, and that's what they do for the hour and a half. They stick to those subjects.
Do you really think they would stick to them, though? Between me and you, do you really think? I mean,
well, you know what? If they can't really,
I think we've done somewhat like this in the past.
We have done
this
in the past. But you know what? The American people are the losers.
Oh, they are.
These debates.
Absolutely.
Big time. All right, and that's what bothers me. And whether I'm going to vote for whomever, just like you, it's one thing. But we're not getting answers. We're not getting serious discussions by people that want to run the most powerful country in the world with the largest economy in the world. They're not serious answers. As far as I'm concerned, they're no better than a lot of the news anchors. They're just talking heads.
Look, these debates, ever since that I can remember,
it's not
and I'll go back to Carter, Reagan, the whole that part. None of these debates ever gave you a lot of substance, but they should.
They need to.
I mean, they're all one-line things, right? I remember Reagan hitting back to something about his age.
Yeah.
The next day, in all the news reports, that was the big story. Yeah. Okay, the thing with the cats and this one and the dogs.
Well, yeah.
That didn't take 2 seconds. It was all over media.
Right, but but look at the disservice even the media does, and we're doing it right now, talking about dogs and cats. Who gives a?
Because that's the only thing. To be honest with you, that's the only thing that you really got out of that debate that night. Okay, to be quite honest with you, that was the catchphrase. It was a wrong catchphrase for that one person. It could have come, who it came from, it's the wrong thing. But that's the way things bounce. People look at one item, one thing. But I 100% agree with you. I wish there was a way to control this, that you talked about the issues, because I really don't want to hear about what you think about cats and dogs.
Nope.
I really want to hear about how you're going to bring us back with jobs, how you're going to bring them back to the United States. Then I want to hear about, with everything going on with the climate, let's talk about that. And I think you got 2 or 3 of these shows. But it was just announced that Trump has pretty much decided he won't do a second debate.
Well, I don't know.
It just came over while we were sitting here.
I haven't heard that. But
which is too bad, because I think no matter what, he needs to get across on what he's going to do. It can't be just Well, what I
Well-
did 4 years ago.
Well, you know what?
We're
Talk-
4 years later.
Talking about some of the
Well,
things.
actually 6.
Talking about some of the things he did do, though, is the Trump tax cuts are still in place.
Yeah.
They didn't get rid of them, so she talks about getting rid of his tax cuts and
No,
this,
because
that,
they're
and the other
making
thing.
more. To be honest with you, that tax cut that he did is making more money for the United States, not for
Oh,
you
absolutely.
and I. Okay, it didn't do anything for me as a medium income. It gave me a certain amount off. I was better off when I could write my loans off and write my and everything else off. Now you can't do that.
Huh?
Okay, so
Where?
never mind. Yeah, I forget. You don't have loans. You're richer than me. You pay for things.
Yes, I do pay for things, and
I'm glad for you.
Well, no, it's one
I have
of
a
the.
couple of my bills outside for you.
It's one of these things that people need to learn. They need to teach it in school. If you don't have the money and you can't afford it,
I
you
wanted
don't
to buy
it.
I wanted to buy a house, and I needed to make the bank richer, so I got the loan through the bank.
Well, a lot of us start.
Thank God I paid that off.
A lot of people start that way, and there's nothing wrong with this. As far as I'm concerned, if you got to go to a bank to borrow money, a mortgage for your home is the only reason you go to a bank. That's God's honest truth. You need a car and you can't afford it, well, then you go buy a car that you can afford. You want to buy a house, you can't afford it, you go talk to a bank. If you can afford it and the bank approves it, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm glad he wasn't my dad back then, because I would be driving around with that. What was that show? The Hillbillies? I'd be having that car.
Well, hey, listen, you want to talk about smart money management and on and on and on. You had Sam Walton driving the same old pickup truck. Here's
Yeah.
a billionaire doing that. I'm sure, what's his name there? Warren Buffett's not, driving around
give
in
both
$200,000 car.
both sides of the aisle that are running for office yesterday that they both showed up in New York for the 9/11 ceremonies.
Yep.
And they were at least civil. They didn't look at each other and talk to each other. I guess that's civil enough.
Yeah, that's probably
Mayor
civil enough.
Bloomberg, I think, was in the middle of them.
Yeah.
But hey, they at least showed up. At least they were all sitting there. They were all in the same row, and they acted positive. At least. I'll
Well,
give
yeah,
them that much.
absolutely. There are times to come together, and even they can come together now
Yeah.
and then. So, I think that's important. I also think that a lot of people observed a moment of silence yesterday and thought about it.
Yeah, we actually there was 4 of us. We were playing golf. We went to Blackledge.
Do you do anything other than
Yeah,
play
no,
golf?
no.
No, I
But
didn't
we're
think
out
so.
there, and right at the
Did you-
right time. It was there. We actually stopped
Yeah.
what we were doing, and we weren't the only ones. We looked back and we saw other people. So I mean, that's the part of America to me that makes you proud.
Well, it is. But, the part of America that actually does that is a dwindling part
Yeah.
today.
Oh, I get it. I get it. The George Bush Republicans and stuff, and them, they're all gone now.
And that's something we need to bring back into this country, because if we don't, we're going to lose it.
Yeah.
And you and I, we're already too old.
Well,
We'll
I think
be
that's
dead before
that's
it's
the
gone,
blame.
but it won't
That's
be
the blame
long
on both
after that.
on both parties,
I mean,
because they've
look-
allowed
look-
us to get to where we are today.
Yeah,
To be honest with
I mean,
you.
look at
Yeah.
Matt. I mean, for
I
crying
mean,
out
why
loud.
can't you sit there and have a discussion with whoever you're running
you
against
know,
and talk about what your beliefs are, where your policies are, instead of about, well, she's the worst thing, she's the worst looking thing, there's this and that. I just
That
see
doesn't-
that's the part that I can't get by.
That
I
doesn't,
just can't
that
get
doesn't
by
belong
that
there.
stuff.
But I do have a Kamala sign, and what's his name? Wentz?
Yeah.
And I have another sign with a finger pointing at it, says, "I'm with stupid."
No.
So anyway,
I
but
don't-
talk
I don't
about
think,
that.
to be honest with you,
Matt gets up.
do you
wait.
really think that they're all stupid people?
No.
Okay.
I don't think
I
they're
don't. What are we
I think
teaching
some
our
of-
What are we
I think
teaching
some
our
of them
kids
don't
today?
really like
that you-
America.
Yeah. What do you think our kids today are looking at when you got the 2 top people, and you got both parties doing signs like this stuff? And it's been going on for a number of years. I'm not good at blaming it right now, but it's a number of years.
Listen, they're probably looking at their iPhone, not paying any attention.
What
to
are we
the
doing?
stuff.
What are we doing?
All right. Well, just look at Matt. Every morning he gets up puts on that
Hey,
shirt, looks in the mirror, and he knows who he is.
Yeah. Yeah. It just takes every day, and it takes him over an hour to do his hair. Yeah.
I think somebody else does his hair. For
That's
him.
what the hour is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Gee, you see how that thing's branded back and
Oh,
forth?
they braided all
Yeah.
around. Yeah.
Dennis does a good job on your hair. I'm just telling you. That's who I hear does your hair, do. So
I'd
does a good job.
I'd say something and make a gesture.
But I
we're
wanted
big
to,
fans.
and I'm sure that there's some listeners that are listening to the show, and I know that there's some people on the town council that are listening to this.
Oh, you guys
So
really?
I really want to get to.
You're in the dump for
Yeah,
sure.
I am in the dump. So I happened to go to the transfer station Saturday, and I drive in, and
They're going to call us a trash show now.
yeah, probably. And I look to the right, and I'm going, what are they building over there? And I said, well, maybe it's for another dumpster, that they're going to put another dumpster this way, so when you come in with some debris, you put it in there.
Yeah.
So I drive up, and I said to the worker, I said, what the heck is that?
Wait a second. He's not a worker. You should know
He's a
better
worker.
than
He was working.
No, what is he?
He's an employee.
He's a sanitation engineer.
Okay, there, I
Aren't you
forgot
supposed
about
to get that
Forgot
right?
that,
I
yeah.
mean,
Same
come
thing.
on.
Thank you.
Pick a
Thank you
union
for
guy
reminding
like
me. Thank you for reminding me.
oh,
It took
man.
management to do that. Thank you. So he says to me, he goes, oh, no. He says, Mr. White, he says, that's the weigh station. That's where you're going to drive up, and you're going to get weighed, and you're going to pay, by whatever it is, by the weight, the tonnage, whatever you got. And
the pound,
I said, what? That's the first I'm hearing about this. So I immediately called 2 people on the town council, and I called the mayor. And one of them says to me that, well, this got passed in 2018, and weren't you on the board of finance? And I said, I don't believe so, but it could have been. I remember a discussion at one point coming through my committee about putting some type of a scale down there, but it was more towards the people that are in business. I don't know the contractors, but they could be these people that do home remodeling and stuff like this, but they live in town, so they got the license, and they're coming down to the dump 2 or 3 times a week, or they come down once a week with a truck full of stuff, week after week, and they're paying the same thing that I'm paying. And this will stop that.
Thank you very much.
So I remember that discussion, okay? But I reminded that council person that the Board of Finance does not set policy.
Nope.
Okay, and we don't vote on that type of stuff. That's your council that votes on that.
No, you don't.
You decided this was going to go through. Okay, but even if it was 2018,
that's
I'll give them a plug though on this. It only took them 6 years to get this done. So I mean, I'm proud of them. I'm very proud of them for that.
They got a plug, all right.
But
right up your kazoozie.
So they put in the scale, and I was down there today, and I took some pictures, and they're putting the getting the scale stuff all ready to go, and I'm sitting there going, well, okay, 2018, they put this thing in, and I wrote back to one of the council members today. It's on Facebook too, and I said to him, 6 years later, you didn't think that because of the high taxes that everybody paid this past year, and car taxes a couple years before, and people in this town crying about their taxes. Jobs are here and there right now, okay? People are hurting. You didn't think about just looking back at this and saying, is this the right time to do it? But we saved money because we bought this from a town that they bought it for a 6-figure, and it's been sitting there for years, and so we picked it up for $15,000, $20,000. Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor, for saving us money on that end, okay? And we're putting in. The problem that I have is, even sitting on councils before, I've never seen anything that was put in place that I had to pay that was going to save me money. Because this is what they're saying, is that when they do this, I'm going to be paying less money than I pay now. Well, up until about maybe 3 weeks ago, when I went in for cardboard, I went in with stuffed, animals from the grandchildren that we're throwing away, or I went in with some books to put into the trailer there, swap trailer, which is not open right now. So you throw those away today, $4. Where that didn't charge me $4 before. Now it's $4. That's happened in the past 2 or 3 weeks.
Yep.
So now they're charging you for things that they never charged before. So I did bring that up, and I had one council person tell me and say, well, the charter that we passed, and Mr. White, you were on the charter the last time. I said, yes, I was. The charter was changed, and it allows the department heads to decide what they're going to charge. And I said, well, that's strange to me because that was never brought up. What was brought up was to give the people that are running the rec center and the Shabu stage to set what it would cost for those things. It was never said that we were relinquishing the control of the town council over the garbage, okay? And I just sit there and go, if it's true, I know we had a lawyer on the on this committee, and maybe he didn't bring it up to what it was supposed to be, and they didn't tell us everything, and they made us believe it was only for one certain area. But now the way that they wrote it, according to what they're being told as council members, they don't have any control over that anymore. Well, that right there would have said to me, maybe we should look at this and not do anything about this until we put a new charter in place, because you do that every 5 years. Oh, and we can't be nickel and diming the taxpayer, which you are doing now.
Oh, absolutely. Wait a second. I got something that you went through there, and it's that they gave the department heads the ability to charge the taxpayer. And see, I have a real.
Most of them don't live here.
Regardless where they live, they should not have that ability or that autonomy to charge the taxpayer. Because actually what they're doing is, they'll call it a fee, but it's actually a tax, or you can go back and forth. Anytime a department head wants to charge a fee or recommends a fee, it should go back to the town council. It should be voted on by the town council, and it has to be something where a service is provided, okay, and actually done. So, usurping that kind of power, it's terrible. It's what's happened in Washington and, in Hartford, and it's not right.
Before we have to take a break, this was the other piece that I was told when I started complaining. Was the towns around us, and they named the mayor named to me Columbia, Mansfield. Those were the two towns directly that he did. So I went and did my fact checking.
Okay.
And Columbia doesn't have a scale. Mansfield doesn't have a scale.
No.
Wellington doesn't have a scale. Norwich does. Okay?
Yep.
But the reasoning they did this because everybody else was doing this. Chaplin don't have a scale. Okay? So I'm sitting there, and then, so I write back to them, the ones that told me this. Well, get a hold of our acting town manager, Don. He's got a whole list of people that have it. So we can tell me, New Britain, Hartford, Bristol, the bigger cities.
Yeah, they have scales.
Okay? Willimantic's not a city, guys. It's a taxing district. It's a town of Wyndham.
Correct.
I really don't care what Hartford, Bridgeport, or East Hartford, or into the fact what Norwich is doing.
Correct.
Okay? What I care about is Wyndham. And you're basically, to me, with the taxes that you went up, and you had no real reason why, nobody on the town council or the board of finance even fathomed that this was going to go up this much this past year. And those are our elected officials. Everyone that you talk to, I don't care if they're Republican or Democrat, okay? The only one I'll give a credit to on that end was Tony, because he voted against it, all right? But here they are, and they don't even understand their budget process. They took the word of the town manager that sat there and said that, well, they won't go up that much, okay? And that's their cover.
See,
and then you got a guy that's on the board now who, again, one of my friends called and talked to him, and he just says, well, I wasn't on the board back in 2018-19. Well, again, you've been on the board for over a year. I think he's the president of the board, too. So use your power with the board and say, shouldn't we have a discussion about this? Now, I'm all in favor of if you've got people coming in and acting as a company, dumping in our place, put them on that weigh scale. I don't care if they got a town of Wyndham thing on it. If they come in more than once in a week or 2 times in a month, that you fully loaded with their trucks, something's going on.
You can't limit them on time like that. Otherwise, we would have term
limits. In talking with other places and calling, why can't you just do this? Charge me $50. A year sticker. I already paid for my garbage already, but I'll give you $50 more if you're that hard up with money for the town, okay? So that I can come down and dump what I want to dump during the year. Charge me $50, because that's what they do in some other towns.
Yes.
Okay? Well, instead of what I think you're doing is that you're actually trying to make money on this in the long run, okay? So it puts more money in our coffers. And by the way, how much money do we have in that rainy day fund, people?
Oh, I
It's a
don't know
lot
so
more
much.
than what is supposed to be projected.
Well, what's a lot more? We're
Well,
running.
we'll find out for the next meeting. But what I'm being told, and I don't have it on, it's a lot more than what is recommended.
Well, right now yeah, I can speak for Columbia, and right now in our rainy day fund we're run about 17%, but we do have over $1 million earmarked for a project.
Yeah,
And
you're
then- so
17.
w-
You're
so-
17% for your budget's different than ours, right?
Oh, our budget's a whole lot different than yours, but we've got a couple $1 million school project coming up that we'll probably pay for.
Yeah.
And that's why we're there at the moment.
So the old days was you run between 8 and 10.
Yes.
Okay, then it went up by, if I remember, it's supposed to be, the number's supposed to be between the 12 and 15%.
Correct.
Okay, so to me, 17, 18, 20% in that fund, you've overtaxed people.
Well,
Because the rainy day fund for Wyndham sitting at 12 to 15% is a heck of a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot more money than us. I mean, that's probably more than our whole budget, because we're only in the $20 million range for a total budget. And the only reason it's there is because we have the big project coming. But, we've had years and years of no mill increases. So I understand the overtaxation aspect. I look at that really hard when we're doing numbers. But once again, we have zero debt, no bonding. We pay everything off, and when even with bonding and the interest rates in the around 3% right now and things like that, that adds up.
Well, in
So
this
if
town,
we
in this
can do it
town,
like this-
in this town, they do a lot of bonding.
Yeah.
Bonding for trucks, bonding for other stuff.
Yeah,
where when I was on the board, we used to buy and pay for
Right.
out of the funds.
Well,
okay, they don't do that anymore, and this is one of the reasons that they're being told. When Anita Sebastian passed away, they put Jay Hanfield on, and Jay's called me a couple times. He just doesn't understand. He says they bond everything, Tom.
Yeah.
And what they do is because they have money in the bank account, so wherever they've got their money, they're making money on it,
Yep.
and it's cheaper to go out and bond. Well, at times it is, and at times
but
it's not.
it's not. From a business standpoint, yes, they're right. But from the public's point of view, the public is paying more. Okay, it's hitting the taxpayer harder. And see, what we'll do is
Right, because you pay, which then there's no percentage that you're paying
no
to a bank or
percentages,
anybody.
correct, or the bonding
Which
piece.
is what we try to teach people.
Correct.
You try
Well,
to
didn't I
teach your
say
kids,
that in the
right?
beginning?
Yeah, I'm going back. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what you try to teach
Yeah.
people, right? In
So-
school, too.
So if we know, we've got to replace a fire truck in 5 years, and a fire truck today is $1 million, we're going to put away, say, $200,000 each year, so that when it comes time to buy that fire truck, boom, we've got it.
There was a question about that with the ambulances because I think we're up this year to get another ambulance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my question to a couple of people on the Board of Finance was, weren't they putting away money in that fund to
Well,
buy another ambulance? And I understand you may not be able to pay for all of it,
Right.
but you should be billing in your bills for a new ambulance every 5 years or every 3 years.
Well,
I don't believe our town's doing that.
No, and a lot of these things are just maintenance. We know we're going to replace the ambulance every 5 years. We know, in between 7 and 10 years, we're going to replace a fire truck. Out our way, we've got tankers. Well, you've got them out in the Wyndhams. Here you have the city water, which is nice. So how many years are we going to replace a tanker and these type of things? So it's got to be figured in. It's like replacing your roof. You're always putting away a little something. I'll call it the rainy day fund to take care of these things. Even in my business, you put money away because you're going to have to replace the roof on this building. So you start putting money away. And that way you just pay for it, you do it, and you're done. And it's a smart way to do things. Because, we talk about the overtaxation. The money goes into accounts that makes interest. So, by making the interest, we help lower the total cost to the taxpayer. So I really think it's a smart way to do it. We've got zero debt. We're, in great shape. And, of course, we're not the big city. So anyway.
And I would just say that, there's a lot of people that are, answering what I put on Facebook on this thing. Most of it's the same thinking that I'm thinking
Yeah.
at this point. But I just, to me, I just can't get the people on these boards anymore. The whole thing was to look at the people, the taxpayer. What is it going to cost them? Can we afford to do this? Can we nickel and dime them? Okay? And this isn't the time to do that.
Well,
Now, maybe the scale, and again, this is what I'll say. I was told by one of them that this was put up by two of the Republicans because in the long run, it would probably save people like me money because they'd be charging the other ones. My only issue is, and even being in politics before, I've never seen something that we've done that kept it at status quo or it was cheaper for me. It always ended up costing me more money.
It's just an oxymoron.
Okay? And that's where I'm worried about. No, look, I'm retired now. I'm on a fixed income like a lot of other people. Okay? And I guess it depends on whether you want to own a halfway decent home or own something that's smaller so you're not paying as many taxes. But, you're pushing people outside of it. I know 3 people in town here that are moderate income people. They're not looking to move out of Connecticut, but they are looking to move out of Wyndham because they're figuring out everything that they're paying here, and it's costing them a lot of money.
Absolutely.
And you can't keep pushing people out.
Well, it goes far beyond the local taxes and everything. The state's very tough and on and on. But I really thought they put that scale in down there because your scale broke at home and your wife wanted you on a scale.
Could have been.
So we'll take a break. Has to deal with they're long, they're yellow, they have red flashing lights, and they can chew up a whole lot of your time when you're trying to get someplace. And
Is that the ice cream truck?
Yeah, it's the ice cream truck. It's permanently parked.
Because
in
I
front
never
of,
get by it.
It's permanently parked in front of your house. I mean, difficult up there. But anyway, hey, listen to the moms and dads. I know you're excited and this and that. You spend time talking to drivers and things like this, but just to put it out there, every time you talk to the driver for a minute, it pushes the bus schedule down another minute. So you get 5, 6 moms or dads going out there, or they're not there to pick up their child when the bus pulls up. Buses get delayed a lot, and there are a lot of complaints that come in because of this. And, I understand the first week of school when everybody wants to take that snapshot of their children going off to school, their first day of school. But, if the bus is supposed to be there at 8:30 and you're not out there at 8:30 and you slow it up 60 seconds or 30 seconds, by the time it gets to the end of the route, it adds up. And it's, we're putting the kids on the buses for a longer period of time that they don't need to. It's not the bus company's fault. M&J is our bus company. M&J pays a very competitive wage to drive a bus. They really do. If it wasn't for the kids in the back, I'd drive a bus around all the time, especially if it was empty, And from what I hear about bus drivers quitting, it's not the kids. It's the parents yelling
Absolutely.
at them. So the parents are, knock it off. Stop.
Well, again, it goes back to parenting because when kids do something on the bus, it's just like at school.
Yeah.
What did you do to my kid today?
Oh, yeah.
In the old days, it wasn't that way. If you got a phone call from the bus company to your mom and dad or the teacher called,
oh, yeah.
you were in a lot of trouble.
Oh, absolutely.
I can tell you I got one. But I mean, what is it today? I mean, what did you do to my kid? Everybody's looking for a lawsuit.
Well, I'm not going to go that far with the lawsuit, but please, be at the bus stop when you're supposed to be there. Moms and dads, I know it can be inconvenient when the kids are coming home and they're not always right on the button. But if you're there, everything works a whole lot smoother. And you got to know that the bus drivers are doing the very best they can. Well,
that's why I like
kids.
I'll be honest with you, that's why I like the cameras on the bus.
Yep.
Because 99.9%, it's not the bus driver.
No.
It's the kids.
It's the kids.
Okay, and at least they got something there to protect them.
And there should really be a camera, I think, over the bus driver pointing at the door.
At the door.
So when there's a parent down there going off on a bus driver, they can show this, and proper actions can be taken, because it is a concern. I mean, I was almost late to the show today because I was stuck behind the yellow submarine, and the red flashing lights, and I'm certainly not going to pass a school bus. So yeah, please, pay attention, get out there, do what you're supposed to do. They're not servants to be waiting on us. That's not the way it goes. So that was just my little gripe about
what I've noticed around
school buses.
Town too. Speaking of vehicles, now I've noticed over the last 2 weeks, people on Main Street passing you, not waiting. When the old days you pulled up and you're going to parallel park, you can't even do that because people won't even stop anymore.
Well, to tell you the truth, I think the parallel parking on Main Street should go the way of the dodo.
It's tough. I mean, when you try to park to go to a business.
We have a parking garage.
No, but this isn't anywhere next to the parking garage.
Well, still, there are other open lots and this and that. I would take parking off of Main Street, but that's me.
Yeah.
That's me. Okay, there are back lots people can park in. Walk a block. For crying out loud, this is America. Most of you are like Tom and Matt, overweight.
Yeah, we can't walk that block.
You need to walk, and do this thing, these type of things.
It's not that we can't walk, Jeff. We're just worried about being taken.
Mugged?
Not mugged. No, we're just two guys, and you don't understand that because you're not one of us.
Oh, okay. I guess one of us. What kind of
cute guys?
Cute guys. Oh, okay. This is televised, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I just want to make sure. Please,
people can see you.
If you watched this, we would like a count on Tom. How many think he's one of those cute guys that needs to worry about being abducted?
Make sure all my bingo ladies call.
But no, I understand that. And
I just seen a lot of it, and you sit there every day and you start listening. Not just this town, but this town's had quite a bit of people getting hit.
Oh, well,
the bikes that are going up and down on these roads, and it's not motorbikes, the bicycles.
Yeah,
they're riding right down the middle of the road. 5, 6, 7 kids. I can't tell you how many times I've got caught up in that, and they don't care.
No, but
they don't care
until you hit one and he goes thump under the tires.
And you're the one. Yeah, but then you're the ones getting blamed for that.
Well, you know what? No, there should be a rule that if you're that stupid to ride down the middle of Main Street, you're fair game. Honest to God. I mean, you can't fix stupid. Let's just get rid of it. Okay.
Yeah. I'm not advocating for that.
Well, I'm not saying it's the right thing, but if it came to a vote, I'd vote yay. But other than that, I mean, some of this is ridiculous. I mean, we're giving up this control. And what's it teach those kids? That they can do anything they want, anywhere they want, and you need to be afraid of them. No! Open the door and, let them slide in oncoming traffic.
Okay, let's go on to something else here.
Some of the stuff, no. I just see the slow,
it's the morals, the family values, being respect to people.
And even
a lot of it's gone by the wayside.
It is, and it's to the detriment of this country. And do I really think that we should be allowed to do that? No. It sounds good, but no. But maybe we should be able to tase them and then make them clean up the streets in an orange jumpsuit.
Oh, speaking of that, have you gotten your latest electric bill?
No, not yet.
I got mine in.
I was afraid to open it.
I actually, so we went from $690 something down to just underneath 400. It was like $390 something.
Oh, and that was with the meter off your house for 2 weeks at a time.
No, because my wife started. She has a little book. Every day she goes out and looks at the meter.
Yep.
And she jots the meter down, right? And then one of my sisters was saying, well, what are you doing that for? Because they take an average. No, they don't take an average. They come out and this is what the discussion we're having. So we get the bill in. So my wife and I open it up. What's the meter say? So I gave her what the meter says. Oh, son of a bee, they're only taking an average. Like that. So they're not really charging you. They just, because we sat there making sure that we shut the pumps down on the pools a little bit more.
Yep.
The air conditioners haven't been running.
Right.
Okay. making sure lights are off and stuff. So it actually has come down a little bit. But we're sitting there going, they really. So if I saved the money this month by doing what I did, they really don't show that much.
No.
They just take a yearly average or during the month of what you normally used. They don't always come out and check.
Oh no, they don't.
You know.
They don't.
And so to me, that's not even fair. I mean,
Well, no, it's not right because you're
You
not
know?
getting charged for exactly what you've used.
what you used.
Right, and
In
you
today's
should be.
world, they should have on these meters somehow where that's going back to a computer.
Well, it does.
Right?
They drive down the street and they can read it from the street.
Well, okay.
Well, they can. They have.
I should be
they have that hardware.
paying what I did, but it did come down a little bit. I'm still paying a good amount of money.
Yep.
But the thing was your usage. The last time we got hit was in that middle of that hot part of the summer.
Yep.
And that was a great time to start this, politicians. But they hit you for that one big month. You know, but still paid quite a bit.
All right. So anyway, moving on here. Next week, third Thursday.
Yes.
It's the final third Thursday.
Final one for the year.
For the year. So we want to see you down here. Bring lots of money so you can spend lots of money.
I also hear there's a carnival in the Shabu area too.
Yeah. You know, we should have a pie throwing contest and have all the town council lined up.
Oh, I'm telling you, we can make some money. Maybe that. Hey, instead of
no
putting
bricks,
the scale
no
in,
bricks.
yeah, instead of putting the scale in, we should do that every third Thursday.
Yep.
And I'll guarantee we'll make some money to offset
I
this
would
thing.
imagine they'd make some money. What else is coming up? Let's see. The Hebron Fair's gone by. Woodstock's gone by. Brooklyn's gone by. We got any fairs coming up? Maybe
Big E.
Big E's coming up.
Big
Okay.
E's coming.
So
Do
there's.
you go to that?
I go to the Big E.
We like the Big E.
I
My
like
wife and
to
I go
walk
every
around
year.
the Big E.
We go to a couple around here because we just like going to get Dell's lemonade.
See,
You know?
it's
But we went to the
all summer
Woodstocks
long,
this
yeah.
year. We actually went up there because KC and the Sunshine Band was
you
playing.
had mentioned that,
And that
How-
was a
how
good
was
show,
it?
and
Was
they
it good?
actually have a whole new area for the bands, which, to be honest, it was whoever decided to change it up
Yep.
and where the location, they did a smart thing.
No,
Very
excellent,
smart thing.
excellent. Because being in the center like
Yep.
it was constricted.
But come on down to third Thursday, especially all the
Absolutely.
college students too. This is a nice time for it in there, and I think just remember for next week, it might be a little tight in parking in some areas, so get down here earlier.
And if you bring a cat, they'll cook it up for you free.
Ah,
Till
no,
next
no,
week,
no.
good night and God bless.